Microphone test. Microphone test. Not yet. Close. Soon. 5 shots of Australia. Carbon monoxide levels. Drought conditions throughout Australia. Fire conditions and smoky conditions. Go back. Last few hours of sunlight over Australia on 26. Yesterday. Midnight now. That's a significant amount of fire activity that's coming out in waves. A lot of smoky conditions. Fires up here. And this looks like a massive amount of fire burning. This is southwest of Hope Vale, west of Port Douglas in Queensland. This is a lot of smoke, but smoke can be tricky to follow, considering that some smoke's going to be at different altitudes, different thickness, particulate matter that makes up the smoke, as well as heat, oxygen heat. This right here looks like all new. This looks fire. Looks to be burning. Pretty significant. Go back at least 10 minutes. See, this fire is absolutely raging. Push play. Burning all along this. Oh wow. Whoa. Happening here. This like a wave of flame, or if fire traveled in a direct through fashion, or this is all just fresh vegetation by the coast that is currently burning. These fires we'll look at a little. This is an alarming spread of fire between Hope Vale, Douglas. Here is Cairns. And there looks to be several fires burning nearby. Again, this is a massive wave. Either this is smoke curtain that's walking by, or this is fire that's completely out of control, burning. Or it could all just be this area right here. We'll know soon enough. As of last night, right before sundown, last we'll be able to see fires and smoke at sunlight. Otherwise, you can use looking pretty nasty. This is North Queensland. A lot of fires burning out of control with all this smoke heading into the Gulf of Carpatria. Say that right. Carpentaria. Carpentaria. Gulf of Carpentaria. We'll look at the Gulf temperature as well. Gulf temperatures around the world, except for the Gulf of Maine, relatively cool compared to the Gulf around the planet. Move all that. There is a fire burning right here. All this smoke ends together. All this finds itself. That's gonna head further south in the Gulf, just recycling air with hazardous smoke. Too far ahead already. These are some massive fires. I usually like it is pretty big here. You can see the shadow, the smoke. Tremendous fires, huge bushfires. These are wildfires. Some of these are bushfires, but these are burning way, way too hot. There is a tremendous amount of smoke. Bush smoke, wildfire smoke, even that's what smoke does. And it comes out from each side. It extends, it expands, it heats, cools, it falls, it lifts. Smoke does it all, but it doesn't do it by itself. Ugh. Now south of Gladstone, be a little fire burning here by Banaraby, by Rockhampton, Emerald, South Emerald. Looks like there's a number of burns there. And looks to be smoke that looks dangerously close to Toowoomba, Brisbane, Gold Coast, off to the east side of it. These are all fires that were just before sundown last night in Australia. See the line of termination as it clears. Line of termination being that line that's coming up that's going to be going overhead. Right before all this goes dark is the heaviest smoke I think I've seen so far this season altogether. Between Queensland to Western Australia. This is all smoke. All these areas are rife with dust, probably right here, but it's a massive amount of smoke. Don't want to skip ahead too much because we're going to be going over sunrise in Australia. Quite a bit to talk about. Now, we're just looking at Queensland, these terrible fires that are currently raging. The amount of smoke diffuses weather, cloud systems overhead. These wildfires do a lot to the local climate and ecology. Smoke is harmful to everything, and it just sits there and waits. But when you see it churning out like this, it looks pretty catastrophic. But it could also be it's hitting an area locally. It's not nearly as large as it's looking like, but it could be a lot of vegetation by Port Douglas. So dry, most areas. As for the drought, these areas are going to be seeing record drought because fire drives away moisture, heat drives away moisture, causes water to recede. And smoke is a blight on the land that causes decay and immense heat with ash falling out of the material that could be several hundred degrees Fahrenheit as it falls. Starting wildfires, spot fires, embers, all kinds of chain reactions, but it's the amount of smoke that we're seeing all throughout Australia right before sundown. 10-minute increments. This line of termination crosses over Northern Territory last night, Australia, over Western Australia. You get a better sense of just how much smoke is in the air. Now it probably thins out and it's at way different altitudes than it would be above sea on the continent, but different kinds of winds that exchange between continents, different kinds of land masses. You'll find that they wind up smoke wall lines too, and sends that smoke spiraling wherever. Almost time. Almost. Single date. Let's go to 26. Perfect. What a perfect scan. This is 26. Minimize that down. Now these are pretty recent scans, so they match up with what we were just looking at from last night, Australian time. many active fronts on these fires. This fire perimeter be burning down near a river, ditch river system. While it is thick with vegetation, it's also ripe with fire, as the drought exceeds many different areas. But again, fire heat drives away moisture and water, making conditions of drought even worse, worsening and worsening. This is these are huge runs of fire. 12 kilometers. Let's make a time lapse of this. This is a pretty huge fire here. Let's see if we can get much more information out of this time lapse. As it's currently burning 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 6 different active fire fronts on this perimeter in this scorched earth. Come up here. Now the date. It is the 1st. Not today, but the date we're currently looking at. You can see the fire by the river system here. Ditch, creek, whatever. It looks to be very drought stricken. And eat a lot of this. You got water here. Fire might look like it's going into the water, but it doesn't. What happens is that it's going to come back up with the wind as the slope allows it to accelerate back up and climb back up a slope of a river bank. You'll see a lot of fires all along river banks that are out of control because it just keeps cheating death. I think it's going to go in the river. It's not. It's going to come back around and chew any more fuel that it hasn't already. You see these arc patterns along river systems. So let's continue. High cloud coverage. A little bit of smoke down here in the south part of this, but no smoke or fires on the 11th that we can see until we get to the 16th. Again, dates up here in the top right. Massive fire gain right here. You can see the active front burning from pretty far up. Highlight this. Next slide. These are dozens of miles or dozens of kilometers. Next slide. You see the gains that these fires make. Are substantial with every passing day. These fires continue to make runs back and forth. let that go out. These are really impressive gains by this fire. I'll push play and let this run for a minute, just so you can see in pretty quick time how rivers are abused by wildfires to cross over. Get the smoke that crosses over that keeps the area warm. Once that fire crossed over, it accelerated and expanded alongside the river. Now this expansion could happen by today, actually, because these are the 26th. We'll be waiting for the new scans for these areas. Just northwest is yet another fire burning alongside some roads. Yeah. Wifa, you got a fire burning just a few dozen kilometers south of it. There's also other fires burning in the area of Queensland that we're looking at. By the Cape up here. We're going south in Queensland more, looking at these. So again, this is why smoke is weird. Smoke doesn't just rise straight up. It does in a controlled fashion, controlled burn, contained burn line. It'll come straight up. But normally, smoke is being lobbed as high up as it can go until it starts bumbling around and starts making these billowing black smoke formations. So you have more like you get uplift and all of the gases, energy that is currently being emitted by the fire is causing that smoke to rise up. But smoke just stands still until something hits it, even just the wind or even just the intensity of the burn itself. A little bit of a fires here, patch fires, smoke right here. These fires aren't too big. As you can see, they can make dozens of kilometers of runs in just a few short days. Alright, still in Queensland, still on the 26th. We make our way over to Brisbane, Gold Coast area. We can see the fires that we saw pretty massive looking fires. This is Inferno with a pretty small fire perimeter, or fire active front that is burning alongside this area west of Toowoomba. Pretty nasty blazes that are happening nearby. Been some tragedies. And a lot of homes that have been lost. These fires are burning dangerously close to very populated areas such as Gold Coast and Brisbane. Brisbane's pretty big, especially for Australia. You got these large, vast areas that are just free to burn. They're difficult to access with water and manpower, even though there are hundreds of firefighters on some of these fires. But the speed at which they burn, they're fighting the east side on the flank, and suddenly drought conditions accelerate many of these different fires in Queensland. Haven't seen too many wildfires in New South Wales so far. It's been mostly Queensland where this drought just cuts through. Massive droughts. Now there was an island that I did mention. Oh good, I zoomed right into it. Bathurst Island. Or Bathurst Island, perhaps. Pretty significant blaze for an island, especially. This is Melville Island, just adjacent. Looks like there's been some burns, but nothing too significant. Nothing that looks like that's burning on this island here, on Bathurst Island. Uh, 7.45 square kilometers. Pretty big. Even stranger. Wait, that smoke up here? Yeah, that's a fire up here on the other island, actually in North Melville Island. That looks to be a fairly significant fire front that's burning just to the north. Wow. You can see the smoke. This is the active front right here. This is complicated. This is a complicated fire, and it's burning this island. This is significant. These scans are recent, so this fire is happening now. even on the other side, alright, the refresh there. Okay. Burning alongside river systems and channels and ditches and creeks. The absolute terrible amount of smoke. It is a 2 islands back to back that are on fire. The Melville Island and Bathurst Island. These are very significant fires. I think the last island I remember hearing about that was Rue Island. But this is all burning north of Darwin, so which way is the wind? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, it's all coastal. See some erosion, some river sediments that's coming out. Mouth here in the delta. To the creek. So this is Northern Territory. This is not the scans that we're going to be looking at. Because south of Broome looks to be some fires that are burning south of Carafa as well. Pretty severe, extreme blazes. Even though they're not very large, they're burning at such intensity that this fire can double, triple size as it burns like a carriage return. And then it comes back up to finish what was out left of it. Western Australia has seen a lot of drought. First, before Queensland, it's been pretty severe all the way down to Perth. But again, fire and heat drives away moisture, drives away water, allowing for the conditions of drought to further expand condition or the light of smoke that is currently causing the pestilence of decay, matter decay. A lot of vegetation that gets hit with all this smoke, it's covered, it's done. Okay, I think we've seen just about everything we could on this day here. Huge amounts of carbon monoxide that is just lunging out west with all this wind that is pushing it out from Northern Territory into these fires that are burning in the Western Australia region, the northern Western Australia region. Absolutely huge. It's not nearly as big. It's 3 times as much as these numbers that we're currently seeing. But still, very bad air quality that is affecting a third of Western Australia. Even though it doesn't look like there is right now, there is still a lot of smoke. There are fires that are currently burning in the Northern Territory, but it looks like Queensland is next up for some severe fire behavior and activity, as we've currently seen. So we come back, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide will give us a better indicator. Of where these fires are currently burning. They're too little, covered by too much thick smoke in Queensland down here, but we know those fires are there. But these up here, these fires that we were looking at, and this one just east of Darwin in Northern Territory, these are burning pretty significantly here in the western side of Australia as well. The Western Australia Central West. It is a lot of drought, but it doesn't matter because the fire is just going to expand the drought conditions as the different. It must be hundreds of fires that are just currently everywhere. Let's see, come back a little bit. This giant mass. Guess that all adds up on the same level, so it's rolled up, it's huge. A lot of carbon monoxide that's currently engulfing the area. This monstrous blob of carbon monoxide. Not lethal levels that I see from here, from Broome to Fitzroy Crossing, but you start seeing fires down here. And these are all going to link up. These fires. The smoke will mend all of these together. Okay, now we can look at some live looks in the last 10 minutes. These are new scans. These are all stitched together on Zoom Earth. Trying to find 10-minute real-time, near real-time increment. Satellite imagery of Australia is frustrating. So Zoom Earth, however the magic they're allowed, it just simply works. Everywhere else, I'll use different services for, especially Africa, for South America, United States, North America. But Australia is weird. It does have radar scope, but no, there's never any rain. These are some pretty massive fires that are happening just south of Emerald. You see the scorched earth that's smoldering still. Some fires that are burning further northeast from those to Rockhampton almost. Looks to be some fires burning dangerously close to Gladstone. putting out huge amounts of smoke. These are very worrisome fires, and they are burning actually far south. You can see how this pulls out. Wall line. The weather hits it. Smoke get pulled away. Pretty tall smoke, but as we mentioned, these things all mend together. Like these are going to. These wildfires will then connect to each other. Bushfires, whatever. They're wildfires now. It's too much. They aren't just little bushfires to report on. These are massive wildfires. They're full on blazing all around Queensland, directly in the area of drought that we were looking at previously. So the conditions are worsening for Queensland while fires continue south to New South Wales. Not saying the fires are traveling there, but it looks like the fires are burning runs further and further south. Although no reported major blazes as I last looked. But again, this is Northern Territory. This is some of the most and worst smoke next to Bolivia and Brazil on the planet right now. All the carbon monoxide, all the pollutants and other additives that are in the air that are swept up in the smoke is getting pushed over to the western side of Australia, while there's a lot more clearer smoke that's over Northern Territory, but that doesn't mean that the fires still aren't burning. Alice Springs here, with a population of 25,000 people, has wildfires burning very, very, very close. This air up here in northwestern Australia is pretty terrifying. Broome, there's a lot of wildfires that are burning here, and here, and like right here. So there's like this wicked arm that comes down like this of a burn that looks like the fire is just like sliced into the land. So here's another fire that's burning further south of Broome. The strange coloration is more like a grayish brown. You can see all the smoke that's in the Sea of Timor. It's quite literally everywhere. You can see it. Same color on the ground. Western Australia, Queensland, and Northern Territories are all seeing very significant, very terrible blazes, as well as bushfires, and some look to be, oh, this could be just all smoke. Heading back, let's turn on the wind. Yeah, someone's fighting every way. See some other fires that are up here. There's a lot of terrible smoke. Have all this smoke being pulled to the western side of Australia. Pretty intense. Okay. Let's see. These fires burning down here. See the wildfire smoke being pulled like taffy. I only see this spot here, here. But again, it's heading south towards where all this drought is built up. So it's going to have a lot of fuel. That's one more. These are bands 11, 1, I2, 1. These are very serious fires that have been burning. It's a lot of thick billowing black smoke along with a number of active fire on each flank. And very terrible smoke. Make more noise, please. No. Now where was it? I digress. Let's see. Mount Isa. Okay, so these are recent. This is daily. These are daily, so this is not behind by much. We have some very extreme burning wildfires still in Northern Territory, even though the smoke isn't there like it was the day before. While that smoke blew west, there's a lot more free open air for more smoke to take its place. This is getting terrible. We have a number of wildfires that are burning throughout the area north of Alice Springs. And we can see where these fires travel by using this time-lapse feature. On the 26th to the 26th, so a month. You can see wow, the very serious blaze that was happening here on the 27th. Turn on fade. I'm just gonna push play and see how it captures the land. This is paused here on the 5th. major fire expansions happening all across the Northern Territory last 2 weeks. This is from 50 kilometers. See how these fires here emerge. Very severe fire fronts here. Very active, very tremendous looking blazes happened here on the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. You have this huge blaze that's connecting between the spot fire here and these much larger fires that have been burning in the northern side of Northern Territory. And these expansions as well. This is 19th display, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, lots of smoke. This is where all that smoke came from that we're seeing on the western side of Australia as it really picked up. 24th, no 25th, and 26th, where it currently stands. So, this is all within the last 2 weeks here. All that's within the last 20 weeks. That's hundreds of square kilometers of perimeters that have been burning. And then you have some that are currently still burning. They're mending smoke. They are now here. This is western side of Australia. This is south of Broome. This fire just completely just burning straight and true all the way without much of an expansion north or south. Some fires have been burning, but nothing like this. Let's make a time lapse of this. You see this here, down here, the western side, south of Broome. And of course, you have north of Broome up here that's burning as well with wildfires. Mostly here. Dangerously close to Broome. I'll make a time lapse of this current area. Nine, 10, 11. 30 frames. Yep, 30 frames. So, push play. Just let this run. I won't pause it. You can see just how much this fire spreads. Winds just pushing it everywhere. These fires I just started up here on the northern side, north of Broome. And it just absolutely rips apart the land. Massive, huge ecology altering flames that just slashed away through border of Northern Territory, Australia, all the way west, out west, all the way to the coastal side. That is massive grounds to cover for a fire in just 2 weeks. If this fire were burning at a different, just an angle that it would stay true towards, so whenever, especially whenever in a bigger river system, you have these fires that make these union symbols, because they are using the slope topography, but also those fires just keep going forward. Keeps going forward as it's just engulfing a lot of drought-stricken Western Australia land all the way to the coast. How do you fight a fire that is moving hundreds of kilometers a day between two different states over just a few 2 weeks? 2 weeks. If this would have burned at any other different kind of angle, it could have been... Well, Broome is still very much in jeopardy. I don't mean that as in they're on fire now, but these fires have been making gains that are many more times the size of the city of Broome in Western Australia here. If these fires, the wind would have picked up, it's a lot of what ifs. But the amount of burn that we see going out towards Western Australia isn't just smoke from the Northern Territory, but it's also smoke that's accumulating in the Western Australia side due to wildfires that picked up in recent days. Alarming amount of wildfires that is just absolutely cutting through all the moisture, scarring the land. Still some very significant blazes happening here. Massive, massive. (639 kilometers). Within 2 weeks, this fire expanded 639 kilometers, north-northwest 137 kilometers. This fire did not stop. Still is burning. And as you can see here, that's where Broome is right here. These fires are still burning and they're very intense. Alright, take a look at where these are currently remaining. A lot of smoke that's covering much of Western Australia now. More so is on its way. If another fire burns like that, such as this, you can expect to see this smoke make some pretty weird behavior choices as it gets pulled around between all of the wind, just pushing it out towards the coast. But there's no rain anywhere. Turn on radar, radar on. No rain anywhere because wildfires, smoke, heat, flames drive away moisture, drive away water, making conditions of drought even wider. Everything that we've seen just from this morning, for Australia morning, nope. If these fires here keep going, Alice Springs and a lot of heavy areas that are climbing, rock climbing, a lot of cliff faces, there's a lot of different areas that can absorb a tremendous amount of heat and get very polluted. absorbing more, especially that you have fires that is burning. You have your grass here, you got your soil rich moisture down here, moisture rich soil down there. You have flame that comes in and scoops all that up. All that rich material is lofted up. It doesn't go straight up because it's not a controlled fashion. What has happened is it's going to go arc out, and that's if you're not fighting it. If there's hoses, there's cannons at the smoke that's cutting through it, you'll start seeing more of this. But right now we're seeing this smoke just go just a third of the continent right now is covered in smoke. In different amounts, varying smoke. Not all of it is lethal, but it's all higher up in the altitude, and Australia is without adequate air quality sensors, stations anywhere. I do see they have options for the public to connect their systems for soil moisture and drought, give that information public face, but there isn't anything like that for air quality, and you'd have to go New South Wales to ACT to be able to start seeing air quality stations that are reacting to wildfire smoke and bushfire smoke, bush smoke, as it's wafting all around the place. The wind systems you got this pretty decent wind coming off from Coffs Harbour that's transiting over the border from New South Wales into Queensland, that's blasting this smoky mess that's in Emerald, South Emerald. Still a lot of smoke up here. And this is not directly over Emerald, it's more meeting other smoke. It's pretty extreme behavior for smoke and fire. We're getting blasted by 30-mile-an-hour winds or higher. It's a lot. You got these fires that are currently, wow, okay. You got this more arc. Unbelievable. That fire is on something pretty gnarly. Let's go back over. Check the and nitrogen dioxide level. Fires might be seeing a little bit of a still yeah, this is still pretty bad, and this is all heading towards Broome, Australia. They should be on a very, very strong advisement for air quality throughout Broome, as it is very nasty looking with carbon monoxide alone and nitrogen dioxide that's currently enveloping the area. Wildfires that crossed almost 700 kilometers times 4. It's not just one giant burn, it's burning outwards, burning out. And all that smoke, all these elements that are making up these terrible conditions for Northern Territory, Queensland, and Western Australia. A lot of fire behavior, a lot of activity. Still didn't have time to work in. I haven't really seen any much local reporting. I keep seeing the same stories repeated, but nothing about these massive towering infernos that you would need a team to accomplish footage. You would have to see so many different sides of it. It's difficult to scale these fires when you can only see smoke in front of you. So you blast it with cannons, blast with hoses, try to control the smoke. But none of this smoke looks like it's being controlled. It's all wild. It's completely blasting out of places. Very, very significant fire behavior, but worse is the smoke. As it bumps up into the sea some more and just keeps covering Broome. Broome could become what Alice Springs was close to becoming, is probably some of the worst air quality on the planet. Let's check this one more time. Oh. These are all the air qualities public facing. There's wildfires up there in Darwin, so these would be early indicators, but there's nothing, so it's useless. These are possible oil drilling, or just say drilling sites, not oil drilling, just oil. These are on fire. These are looking like severe burns. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near the smoke. Awful. They all look burned. Or a well can burn for a long time, engulfing all of this. Mooney Highway and Galera Road. Pretty extreme fire behavior. These might be mining tilling dams. I can see there might be some burn happening here. That's bad. Best of luck. Oof. Okay, well, that's what I have right now for Western Australia, Northern Territory Australia, and Queensland Australia. Current fires that are plaguing the entire country, or every state. South Australia looks like it's just been covered in dust. New South Wales doesn't have any severe fire behavior, but there is a lot of drought that extends into New South Wales and northwestern side of it. So it's possible. Wouldn't want fire to be literally in every state of Australia at one time, but it's looking dangerously close. As we've seen fires that are burning right now. Massive quantities of smoke that's being pulled out of the way. A lot of strange skies throughout Australia. This is looking severe. Might be controlled here. But these fires are not easy to get to these regions. There are fires that are burning hundreds of kilometers of perimeters all throughout Queensland now that are all burning very close in very important cities. A lot of tourism, but so is Northern Territory. Can't believe that is all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And thank you. Be safe.